Hello? Hello again, everyone.
That is the sound of Scissor Man and Clock Tower.
That is what we were playing
Which
today.
is what we're playing for the
Should we turn off the
PlayStation 1.
lights? Turn off the lights.
It's about 8 p.m. It's dark outside, and we are turning off all the lights.
Oh yeah, except for, that one, but whatever.
Except for the one on the TV. Remember where others...
There you go.
Yeah.
Less bright.
Yeah, girl.
So, this is one of Trevor and I's favorite and oldest games. Oh, I got it. I mean, this is a PS1 game, so it came out in about 97, something around there, and we've had it almost the entire time. Listen to this music. It's so ominous.
I don't remember a point in my life that this game didn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty fair. He was born in 92, so it came out in, I guess that means either 96 or 97, depending on the region or whatever, but... So, we're going to be going through this whole thing. Hopefully it's not going to take you too long. There's only 3 stages. It's not too ridiculously long.
I'm honestly surprised that our dad even got this game. Because if you look at the front, it's like, boy, this looks like a horror game.
Yeah. I bought it at Green Dragon, I remember that. What's going on? What's happening? Brandon.
Did you buy it at Green Dragon?
Yeah, I did buy it at Green Dragon.
Oh, Green Dragon.
Professor Barton. Did you...
When it's better than it is right
What on earth are you doing, Professor?
So this voice acting
You mustn't hypnotize her
is a
like
thing
this.
that exists.
She's not ready to remember the murders
Remember
yet.
the murders.
Helen, the Clock Tower murders are fascinating research material for me.
Voice acting.
I must know the truth of what happened.
She can't take any more of this today, Professor.
It's true.
I'm taking her home.
So, this is a point-and-click horror game, which is, I guess a rarity.
But
Oh.
remember one thing.
Hey, remember one thing.
Especially for, like,
you may be her
console.
guardian,
Be her guardian.
but you are also my assistant.
Also my assistant.
Yes, Professor.
Yes, Professor.
Anyway, so it's a pretty unique game. It's horror. Essentially, a little bit of backstory. Scissor Man is a guy who walks around with a big pair of scissors that murders a lot of people. He's supposed to be immortal. The blonde girl's name is Helen. She is the helper of Jennifer, who is the black-haired girl, who was the main character of the original Clock Tower on the PS1. She's one of the 2 people to actually get away.
You mean
There's a
SNES?
faint smell of ammonia.
For the Super NES, I don't know what I said, but for the SNES, yeah.
You said PS1.
Oh,
A
that was
giant
SNES.
pair of scissors. They ripped the scissors used to murder.
What? These are like the weapons he used to slash at his victims! So, despite the obviously not great graphics and not great voice acting, the game itself is still scary. I actually played it earlier today, and it's still frightening at some points. And the major reason being, you have literally no weapons to go against Scissor Man, who seems unstoppable. He's absolutely unstoppable. And if you see him, there's not much you can do. Maybe you can pick up the statue and bonk him on the head, whatever the case may be. But there's really not much you can do. So it's all about terror, finding hiding spots.
There are some humorous methods of getting rid of him. Like, you can go into a bedroom and throw a blanket on top of his head.
Some of these you'll be seeing. I'm essentially running this as a speedrun of sorts. I'm still going to explain some stuff, but I'm not going to go and see anything that's unnecessary, because the game will take too long in that place. I did it earlier.
The one scene with the
And this game,
computers?
Yes,
really
you will
wanna-
likely see that.
Okay.
This game, you really want to go as fast as possible, because the more you mess around, the more often Scissor Man will show up. In locations or anything, and he'll eventually kill you if you mess around too much.
Yeah, and the major thing is you don't want to mess around. You want to just get it done, because when he appears, it's hard to get rid of him. You have to either really knock him out, or use an object to knock him out, or hide in a place that he won't be able to find you. And there's a lot of times where you'll go into a good hiding spot and he'll find you, because Scissors Man is both incredibly retarded and incredibly smart at the same time. It's frustrating to say the least. But the one thing I want you guys to notice is, besides this professor using as one of the main characters, like this Danny guy and Helen, like all these ridiculously unimportant characters that this game is littered with. There's like 4 main characters, maybe 5, and everybody else you're like, oh, Tim the cameraman, cool, who says like one line the entire time. And I've played this game enough it'd be cool if he were real. And constantly throughout this game, people talk like that, like, it'd be cool if Scissorman were real, or it'd be cool to go to this haunted mansion where Scissorman is. That'd be fun. That's a fun thing to do. Is essentially how a lot of characters act in this game when you're like, what are you, retarded? Like, people are dying everywhere, and they're like, whatever. So the reason I went out and talked to everybody is you have to do that before you leave. It's the prologue, so it's really slow. Here's a very interesting thing. This is Harris, one of the semi-main characters. You have to talk to him on your way out, and this is something interesting for Brandon as well. If you talk to him one time, your main character will be Helen, the blonde girl. If you talk to him more than one time, he'll ask about Jennifer Simpson, how she's doing, and because of that, she will become the main character of the game. So one time Helen, two or more will be Jennifer. So it's one of those things that's so cryptic, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
If I didn't know, it's ridiculous.
We're gonna do Helen because she's a little bit less. What's the word?
Annoying.
Less annoying.
It's
than
less.
Jennifer.
I've played her quest a lot more. I know what's going on, and Jennifer's just gets screwed a lot more. So I apologize about the length of this prologue. It is the worst part of the game, especially because you have to go through it every time.
Whenever it's a
Tim, the cameraman.
Yeah, whenever it's a daytime, you just have to go places and talk to people. But when it becomes nighttime, oh boy.
Oh boy. So they're talking here about the Clock Tower murders, and essentially he works for, like, I don't know, Us Weekly or one of those magazines that's like kind of like a tabloid. And they're asking, and Professor Barton is like super into his job and is just like, oh, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? And they're talking about Jennifer Simpson, who is like one of the only people who knows what Scissorman is, but obviously people don't believe her because she's like, hey, there's this thing, he's like immortal, and you know he's killing things, and people are like,
she's kind of like mentally messed up too from the first one.
yeah. So I mean, everyone's like, okay, it's obvious somebody's killing people with a giant pair of scissors, but I doubt it's an inhuman monster. Or is it? Look at Tim the cameraman.
He's such a good cameraman.
One of the interesting things about... Yeah, he's really good. One of the interesting things about the dialogue in this game is... a lot of times it'll be just like this, where they're not actually doing voiceovers, but then there'll be random times where there's random voiceovers, and it's really interesting, because sometimes you'll be talking here, and it'll just be text, and then suddenly they'll just do the voiceovers, and then at the end of the conversation there won't be any voiceovers.
Hand motion.
Almost to the point where you're like, what did they run out of space on the frickin' disc? Like, this game is not long. I beat it earlier today in 1 hour and 30 minutes. I mean, yeah, there's a certain amount of things you can do that I didn't do, but it's not super long. It doesn't have a lot of...
And the only
cutscenes.
FMVs are the ending.
Yeah, and the FMV... you guys are going to be disappointed with the endings, because they're like 10 seconds long.
Yeah.
So, essentially, there's 5 different endings, A, B, C, D, E. E is the worst. Absolutely. Nothing. You can't even go to the final level in E. B, C, D also really suck because you don't save everyone. And A's ending is good. Everyone survives, but it also lasts like 10 seconds and gives literally no closure to the game. So, yeah, like nothing.
Which you would expect they would just like resolve in the sequel, and there is a Clock Tower 2, but it's not related to this game at all.
At all, in the least.
Yeah.
Clock Tower 3 is barely associated. So, this is one of those games that is...
At least it has characters in common, kind of.
Yeah, kinda. They have the same last names. So, obviously the deal with this game is, it is super ridiculously flawed in every single way, but it's also really, really good because of its flaws and how the flaws are done. It's one of those games that if the flaws were a little bit different, you'd be like, this game's unplayable. Clock Tower 2, the sequel, is absolutely unplayable. It's an unplayable game. I actually beat it for the first time maybe 6 months, a year ago, something like that, and it was the worst experience of my life, whereas this is maybe my 50th time playing Clock Tower 1, and I enjoy it every time.
And it was actually pretty cool. Clock Tower 2 is the first ever game that we special ordered through like eBay or like bought it through like a mail service.
True.
Spenser was probably like 15 or 16, and he had to buy it himself, and we were like, we're so excited, and we couldn't even get past the first level. It was like that cryptic and bad.
It took me almost 10 years to get past the first level of that game, and the thing is, I tried to look online for game facts, for YouTube videos, and of course, YouTube wasn't a thing at the time.
And also, I still think that getting through the first level is complete luck.
It is complete
You
luck.
have to do everything perfectly and get very lucky.
One of these days, we'll get a group of friends together, and we will do Clock Tower 2, and you will just hear the awfulness going on with it. So, essentially, as far as what the story is going, is this statue is very important to the game. it was found at the scene of the murders in the past, and Professor wants to get an expert opinion on it. So there's two places he can take it. Either to the library to get a librarian to look at it, or the butler that used to work for the Barrows family, which is the family that all this
Are you gonna do
crap
the
happened to. I'm going to take it to the butler.
Yes.
Because
I like that place better.
it's much better, and you get to have the best character in the game. So, I'm definitely going to do that. This is an extremely important item to the game. I am going to ask Harris to show it to Rick. The interesting thing you'll notice about Rick, if you're reading along, is they never refer to Rick as, and they're about to say it, they never refer to Rick as a last name or anything. They'll just say, Harris, would you take the statue and show it to a man named Rick? To which Harris replies, is that the statue? Is that the scene of the murders? Yes, it is. Would you ask him if he knows anything about it?
Rick.
Yes, I'll go and ask him on my way home this evening. Like, of course, the question you would normally ask is, what Rick are you talking
Rick,
about?
You know Rick. It's Rick.
Like, what do you, like,
It's Rick,
literally, what do
man.
you, like, they don't even mention, I think,
Everybody knows Rick.
I think even later when they talk about Rick, they're like, he lives somewhere in the suburbs. Like, that's it. Like, they just talk about it. So, this character's name's Kay. She's the guardian of Edward. And Edward is a 10-year-old boy who was also attacked by Scissorman. And a lot like Jennifer, he has trouble remembering everything that happened because obviously being attacked by a giant pair of scissors and having all your friends die is going to be a really traumatic thing.
especially for a kid.
Yeah, especially for a 10-year-old kid. So, he doesn't remember his name, so they call him, obviously, Edward, because she just needed a name. So we're almost done with the prologue, then. Yeah, that's pretty much the background of this game. There's three...
One problem with this game before you continue is that it has almost no soundtrack. So right now it's completely quiet.
Yeah, until something happens or, like, Scissorman's there's, like, barely any sound, and this isn't... You're not just hearing our voices. There's literally no soundtrack last time. Data save. Sure I will. Another problem with this game, although very minor, is it takes forever to check the memory card and to save. Dude, I'm going to save over that one I had earlier today. Oh, yeah. So we're going to be starting Scenario 1 somewhat soon. I have a couple more things to do in the prologue. I'm taking over Helen now. You said your hard drive crashed? That's too bad.
That's too
Beth.
bad.
Beth, the most important character in the entire thing.
Also, that name's just funny.
Yeah, Beth is a funny name.
Beth. Macbeth.
So, yeah, she's the professor's assistant, and she's talking about doing a dissertation or something stupid. And she has to go out and, I don't know,
Do stuff. And be important
I'm
characters.
gonna step out for a bit. Would you ask Danny for me?
Danny boy.
I think in a second we're gonna meet the best character in the game, by far, not even close. I'm gonna go to the police station, because Assistant Inspector Stan Gotts is here, and he is the coolest mofo in the entire world. This guy's voice is the best / worst. So I'm gonna read his first line in the way he says it, and you'll hear it later, and later on in the game you'll hear how he talks, and you'll be like, "There's no way he talks like that." Well, hey, Teach, got some new info? Teach. So like, I love games like this where they don't give you that much backstory. So like, Gotts and Helen obviously know each other, and he even has like a nickname for her, which is Teach, but it's literally never explained. Does it mean teacher? Like, was she a teacher? Did she teach him? Like, that's just the kind of stuff that, like, they totally don't even care about at all. What about that little cutie? Jennifer? Oh, by the way, pay attention to this right here. See those freaking shadows right there?
Advanced.
Of course, I mean, for 20 years ago, it being 3D at all is like, oh my god. And the next place I'm gonna go visit and meet Edward, who is staying at the Norway International Hotel, and most of the game does take place in Norway. Some of it takes place in England, London, England to be exact, or around. They're here. Prologue's really, really boring. She's just meeting him, being like, "Oh, is this Edward? How's your therapy going? Oh, he's not remembering anything.
My name's still Edward."
I don't remember my name. But most of the actual vocal work comes into play in the third scenario. The first two scenarios are incredibly short. I can probably go through them in 5 to 10 minutes, even if crap goes wrong for me, whereas the third one takes a good 30, 40 minutes, even if you're doing everything right. It's so much longer, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So I'm going to be going back to the university building, where the first scenario is going to be starting.
It's sure getting dark.
It's getting dark here.
It's sure.
And you're going to start to see the cool stuff happening in this world. So, she's talking to Danny Boy. This is back in the day where replacing a hard drive was probably like a 50-pound work job. I mean, it was like 96, so... Or replace your hard
like
drive.
$500.
Yeah, really. I put a full megabyte in it. That's probably a thing, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Computers. So, she stayed late working on her dissertation. Scenario 1, Helen Maxwell.
It's
you're
dark
ready
out.
For this? It's dark
Get
out.
ready, I'm scared.
Dude, I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Did we lock all the doors in the house? I'm scared.
It's
That feel. I'm going to talk to the most important character in the game, Rose.
I don't think she...
Is that you, Baker? Oh, it's you, Helen.
Oh, it's
Baker's
you.
still in the lab. Rose, are you seeing Baker again here? Yes, sort of.
Ooh.
Well, no matter how late it is, remember, don't use the university as a motel.
Get it?
Because they're gonna be doing this. So I'm gonna be turning off the lights and I'm gonna be taking a quick cat nap. Nothing can possibly go wrong.
What could
Why is she going to sleep here?
Because I guess she was working on her dissertation, Nate. Yeah. So you're not allowed to leave. Like if you try to leave, it'll be like I should sleep. So I mean, it's something that's just always gonna happen. But yeah, I guess just like a normal university student, she waits till the last minute to do everything. Did you hear that?
I hear that.
Notice how she's gone.
Oh, yeah, Rose isn't there. Who could this be? Gosh, it's so freaking late.
Oh, no. I'm gonna...
If Ashley wanted to troll us, she could just open the door at any time and be like, ugh. Oh, it's just some dude.
Oh.
It's my midnight caller. Well, hello.
Oh.
And that's Scissor Man. And from this point on in the game, when Scissor Man appears, you can't freaking do anything. This will automatically make me leave the room. But yeah, there's pretty much nothing you can do when he comes around. I think I'm gonna grab this and bonk him over the head with it. And then from now on, I'll be hiding in bathrooms. I don't know. So sometimes Scissor Man is so stupid, like for instance there, I'm pretty sure that makes him go away for good, even though it obviously did nothing to him, like he's just standing there, frozen. Or whatever.
Yep, no more music.
Yep, so when there's no music, it means Scissor Man isn't there. When there is music, it means he's there, and his music is super scary and he'll still give nightmares to little kids everywhere. So I first need to go find myself a pair of pliers because I got to get out of this place. And oh no, that really sucks.
Did you? Is this the?
This is the room.
There's a very high chance of Scissor Man being in this room, and
He
it's
was
a
in
really
here
cool.
earlier
It's a
today.
really cool scene where Scissor Man is at the back of the room,
Hopefully
and
we
he
see it,
slowly
right?
goes forward.
In case it happens.
And as he goes forward, the computer screens
I
turn
don't
on
think
and
he'd
they
come
say
back
kill.
here.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no
well,
reason to come back.
yeah.
I have no reason to. So, I'm going to be going down. I'm on the 3rd floor right now. I'm going to be going to the 2nd floor. I have a pair of pliers, which I'm going to use to get out. I also need to grab the most important item in the entire game that you find in Scenario 1. It is a flashlight. And you'll find out why it's...
absolutely need it.
If you do not have it, you are going to get the worst ending. Your life will not be fun. And it is such a random thing that you just have to find this flashlight. And you're like, what am I going to use this flashlight on? And it comes in way later in the game. Dude.
I thought that was
Please,
coming from the
Ephrata.
game.
Please, Ephrata.
Please,
In
Ephrata.
case you didn't hear that, it was a siren outside. I was like, please.
Scissor Man.
Dude,
Nope.
answer the fax
Nope.
machine.
Hey.
Nope. Nope.
Fax machine rings. You better get that.
Nope. I like how she just stands there.
Yo, read those faxes.
Alright, I will after I get this item.
No, you don't have to.
No, dude, I will. Why not? I don't think he appears.
But his chance of appearing is higher.
Alright, fine, I won't. The fax simply reads, I'm gonna get you, or something like that.
I'm gonna get you real bad.
A flashlight? Look at this we used before.
I always think that when you open the locker, he'll just be there.
Sometimes it does happen. He is so random where he appears. Sometimes you can walk into rooms like, earlier today I walked into this room and he was here. Earlier today I walked into the computer room and he was there. Whereas he could be right out here. He could randomly, if you hear the music appear, it means he's coming up close.
Dude, just imagine speedrunning this game. You'd have to get so lucky.
It's the worst. I mean, this is my
RNG.
second time running it today, and I saw him no times compared to seeing him 2 times earlier today. It's so random. I mean, you would literally just have to run the whole game through and just be like, whoa, I'm glad I did that. He appeared at the last second. I find it impossible to believe that you can go through the game without him appearing besides the preset locations.
I think if you go in, like, the elevator...
Sometimes if you go in the elevator, he'll peek his head out and try to slash you. There's a lot of stuff. I know he's going to appear at least once, if not in this room. Okay, so I'm going to be grabbing a key. All I need to get out of here, I'm almost done with the first scenario, believe it or not. It's extremely short if you know what you're doing. You just need a
When's
key.
he gonna come out?
You just need a key and
so.
you need the pliers.
Can't
However,
there be a dead corpse in this room?
that's for Jennifer.
Oh, okay.
That's for Jennifer. However, if you check, there's water leaking, and if you check the source of that, it is a body hanging from like the ceiling, which I don't feel like checking, to be honest with you guys. I don't want to get scared. He is going to be in this room, however. That's pretty much a fact. He's going to be hanging out back. Really?
Seriously?
Wow.
What? What's going on?
This is unbelievable. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This is so random when he appears. I'm done with scenario 1. That's it. I'm done. Earlier today, 12 hours ago, I did this and he appeared all 3 rooms I went into. And in this one, he appeared 0. I'm done with this scenario. He did not appear
That's
a single
ridiculous.
time. That's unbelievable.
Well, that takes the fun out of it.
So that's technically, you'll see him again. He'll appear. So she got away.
Dude, in the mansion, you'll see him, like, freaking, like, a million times.
Well, I ran in the 3rd level and the longest level. I earlier ran it today where I didn't see him a single time, but I also feel extremely lucky that that happened that way. So we'll see what happens. But I was kind of on edge there because I thought he was going to appear every single place, and he didn't at all. It was kind of interesting. So that is technically 1/3 of the game. However, part 3 is so much longer that that's more like 20%. What the
No.
beep is going on? We haven't solved the last case yet, and now another mass murder. Because the thing you find out if you go looking around there is a lot of bodies. There's like a lot of bodies of people that work there. Like, he just impales them everywhere. So, Gotts is mad. I just can't believe I didn't see him a single time. That's unbelievable.
Don't go anywhere too far.
For second scenario, who do you control? Is it Gotts?
Gotts, yeah.
Cool.
So, like Trevor said, during the day, during the intermissions, this is the second intermission, you just have to go around to predetermined places and just talk to people in predetermined ways. Which is just, it gives you the story, but it's annoying, so I'm going to go through it as fast as I can. Just to actually just bust through the game and show you the 3rd stage, which is so much cooler than the first 2. In the second,
I like the second stage.
the first stage is my least favorite. In the second stage, you actually take a hold of Gotts, who is this
The
guy.
man.
obviously.
The house is pretty cool. The library is pretty stale.
The actual house itself, I was thinking this earlier today, the house rules. Like, if that was my house, I'd be like, you'll see, Brandon, it's a really, really nice house. So I'm going to go to the hotel room first, talk to Edward and Kay, and be like, oh my goodness, did you hear about that scissor man? I can't believe it. And,
That's how he sounds.
that's the music for this game, guys. Just like, so I guess they just wanted to remember, like, guys, just talk.
Good, perfect, perfect.
All 12 developers.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of different twists and turns and endings and stuff like that for an ASCII game, which I literally cannot name to you another ASCII game besides the Clock Tower games. I honestly don't know. So they're not that big. So, This is pretty much a cult hit. Like, it's not going to be so unknown that people will go, I've never heard of it before in my life.
One point I was going to bring up before, but I forgot, or you were talking about something that was more important, is that games like this in the market nowadays just can't exist.
Oh, no. The closest thing is that Walking Dead game, which is a little bit more action-oriented, but, it's, I mean, how many people come in and complain that the Walking Dead game they got wasn't what they thought it was going to be? You know, because it was more of an adventure game like this. Like, you're only going to find, once in a while, the Telltale games, people making those. Like, it's just... It's very difficult.
It just... You can't... For the PS1, there were for the PS3, there will never be a game like that just randomly comes out that you didn't really heard of. That's just like Clock Tower or a game like that.
Yeah.
Like games like this just cannot exist. Not even like downloadable titles really either.
Yeah. So right here, what's going on is they're talking about what happened to the statue because they heard that the statue is a pretty important part of the piece, and Beth is saying that the professor had either the librarian, Mr. Sullivan, look at it, or the Rick, the butler, look at it. And the funny thing is, you can choose whether you're going to go to the library or Rick, regardless of where you take it. So you can tell the professor to take it to Rick's and then go to the library, not find it there, and you will get the worst ending in the game. So that's always pretty interesting. But who is Rick? Literally, the question I don't know. I don't know. So it's like, the professor, like, the fact that Rick even exists in this game...
Why'd she say I'll go over to the library?
You don't have to. She always says that. That confused me earlier today.
Oh, okay.
What you do is
Gotts does.
You go to the police station, you say, have you heard of this guy Rick? Yeah, I'll ask Gotts about Rick.
Rick.
What a name for an old butler. And Gotts is like, I don't know who he is, but I'll go. I heard he lives in the suburbs somewhere. Hello!
Somewhere.
Hello, operator? I'm looking for a Rick that lives in the suburbs. Oh, you mean Rick?
Rick,
Yeah,
you
Rick.
say? Oh.
Yeah, Rick. Rick.
That
okay.
sounds familiar. ... Oh yeah, he's the old geezer that used to be the friggin' butler for the Barrows family. Remember that? Rick. Oh yeah. And obviously that's super important because Barrows family is of the Clock Tower case, but like literally, he's like.
He quit 10 years ago. Because
What happens if he's Scissor Man?
Ah!
An old butler, Scissor Man looks like an old guy.
Rick.
I think that's a prime candidate.
Rick.
Yeah. He's all hunched over. So, like, just the fact that they never call Rick his last name, and they don't know anything about him or where he lives, and they're like, oh, Rick! Yeah.
Yeah, Rick. I know Rick.
So I gotta make sure I make the right decision here. Blah, 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 blah. That would be like someone calling...
Rick.
I see.
Spenser.
It'd be like someone be like, hey, Spencer, it's Mike. Like... I don't know, man. I know, like, 15 Mikes. So, like, unless you put your last name, I'm not... Even if you're... I don't know. You will? I just want to make sure and get the statue, and then I leave, and it's that easy, right? It's super easy.
Nothing to it.
Nothing to it. Teach.
Yes, but
So I'm gonna ask Gotts to go to Rick's because it's there, and it's the more fun thing.
What happens if you say no?
If you say no, you just go to Professor Sullivan. When you go there, you're gonna say, "Where's the statue?" And he's gonna go, "I don't know."